chosen ones, pneumatics. Pneumatics are like the chosen ones. So, and if you don't, not sure what I'm talking about when I say pneumatics, well, in Gnosis, there's like basically three types of people. Hylics, you know, the people of the earth, they love the earth, they're happy with everything, everything's just fine. They don't really need anything, like as far as spiritual, they don't need God, they don't need anything, you know, they're happy with the way things are. They like the earth, they probably wouldn't have a problem if you told them, hey, you want to come back here again? They probably wouldn't have a problem with it, maybe. Psychics, the second group of people, and they're like, you know, we're like religious folks. And like, you know, the regular Christians, you know, it's probably going to be hard to talk to them about Gnosis because, you know, and I understand where they're coming from, because even for myself, like for instance, when I first started hearing about it, because this is a Gnosis, the way it's going around the world, I truly believe it's the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, you know, that's mentioned in the Bible. I think those texts were purposely hidden till 1945 because, well, let me get back to that in a minute. But yeah, I do believe that, I truly believe, from my experience, I'll just share with my experience, and this is I'm talking to the community, to our brothers and sisters that are also they're also on their journey, and that's the reason why I'm really making these videos, is so that way we can draw the best out of each other, we can build each other up, maybe we'll get to meet each other, or maybe you can be inspired how you can also build a community. You don't necessarily have to do YouTube if you don't want, make videos. Because of some of the things I'll be sharing, how I'm going to build local community, you don't have to use video. You could like literally just start with a couple of people, pass out a few flyers, leave a couple cards and locations. Like, I come to the library every day. I'm always at the library. Me and my son, we spend like 3 hours a day. I read, I catch up on things on my phone, whatever. I make videos, you know. And I like the library. It's always been one of my spots all my life, pretty much. But again, from my experience that I share with you guys, and I impart my experience on you guys, you know. But from my experience, I grew up, like, I got saved. I'll just call it, like, it's kind of difficult because I'm going back and forth in Christianity terms, Orthodox Christianity to Gnosis. So yeah, I got saved when I was a little kid. My mom put me on the Sunday school bus, because she was also, you know, Christian, but she couldn't always make it to church. But she made sure I got on the Sunday school bus, and I went, and I had a great time. I actually loved it because we had the puppet shows, all types of stuff. And I remember something must have happened in my life, because I always saw heaven, you know. And yeah, maybe it was the false heaven, but that's even a copy of the pleroma. You know, everything's just a copy. And I'm going to try to share my kind of revelations. I don't think they're really revelations. I think they're pretty plain in text, but my understanding, really, because I'm not the only one. I hear plenty of videos. That's really all my only source of connecting with the Gnosis communities, through videos. And again, because going back from what I'll share is my experience, I'm kind of skipping around here a little bit, but from my experience, growing up as a Christian, and meaning like I had up and downs, you know, I lived in the world too, you know, but as a teenager, our church, we were Baptist, and then we had, it was the revivals that started coming in the, one of our guys that commented, he experienced it in the late 80s. I didn't really experience the Holy Spirit movement until the 90s, the early 90s. And I remember, I feel like we were kind of in an epicenter, because I know Rodney Howard-Browne was a big face of that movement, kind of like the Toronto, I think they started up in Toronto. I did a lot of research, it's been some years now, so I'm kind of loose on it, but I did a lot of research. I connected a lot of names to that movement, and kind of where it all began, like the Toronto Blessing. There's all these little movements that started, and they kind of swept across the states, and they're doing revivals everywhere. In Fort Worth, Texas, that's where we met with Rodney Howard-Browne at the Cathedral Fort Worth, or I can't remember what it's called now, but Calvary Cathedral. So that was my experience of the Holy Spirit movement. And I never felt 100%. I was open, I was willing, and I had a genuine heart. I was all about it. But I always felt like I kind of saw through it. Like my brother, my sister, I mean, I think everybody kind of did. I think there's a psychological, sensational type of thing when you bring masses of people together. It's a sensational thing. I don't know all these words for it, but it's the same way propaganda works. It's the way they control the human race through media, through propaganda, and how we think, and how like peer pressure works, how nobody wants to be the one to speak out because they don't want to go against everybody, so they just join, you know. They conform, you know. I'm not the best speaker. I can hear it and see it in my head, but I know you guys probably know what I'm talking about. But the real true Holy Spirit movement, I feel like I've been experiencing it, and it all makes sense too, how the Holy Spirit, really Sophia, which in Greek means wisdom. Well, that even makes sense even in the Holy Bible, how you will not need a teacher. The Spirit will teach you all things. You won't need men to teach you, you know. Will show you all things, will lead you to truth. Christ said in John, I don't remember that, I think it's 16, he even said, I have teachings that you can't, I'm not like perfect at the scriptures, but like you can't handle these teachings, but the Spirit will come soon after. And I really believe that could be like, he was actually referring to himself giving these teachings. So not just in the book of Acts on the day of Pentecost. And remember, a lot of that is controlled opposition, you know, by the Council of Nicaea starting in 325 and so on, you know. I mean, think about it. These dudes, I mean, we're getting together. Anytime you see a bunch of dudes like that, and you can watch like movies, like documentaries, like even kind of like Luther, like, and how all those guys gather together and how they're full of ego, pride, and it's like you don't feel anything from above with these people that are in charge of our spiritual guidance, you know. So why in the world will we trust, which I did, because I truly believe that Father knew all these things. He knew they were going to attack his word, and so therefore so he put him in a stupor, is kind of what I always thought. And either way, the way I went about it is I always believed I would read the word, but the true word would be the rhema, the revelation knowledge that I received. That was the living word. The logos, the writing, was just the written word. But the true revelation, and that's how I kind of had a way that I felt like I went around the system, the matrix of the Bible. I was like, well, Father truly reveals the true word. He knew you were gonna, the men were gonna mistranslate it, water it down, and just straight change it too. Take out what they want and add what they want to create a religion, a centralized authority, you know, a global religion to control the world forever. You know, and that's what they're doing. An archonic system to harvest our energy, keep us under their control. So I think the true Holy Spirit movement is Sophia, wisdom. You don't need a teacher. The words of Christ, Sophia, through the word, enters into us when we read, and it's life, it's word, it's spirit, and it's the true gospel. And that's why I've had a total many shifts, and it's weird because it's even been like vivid, even in my vision, like, and it's not for constant, it's like at moments. And then of course I also have, I crash as well, because the archons know what I'm going through in my personal life right now, and I think they're really coming after me harder than they ever have, because they know I'm going through an awakening process, and that I'm also gonna go out and take away some of their power source, their batteries, by spreading the gospel, spreading the truth. And so they don't like that, and yeah, they're doing everything they can to distract me, try to get me to just want to go back, be comfortable, not want it, because it's heavy. The archonic, I mean, we all go through it. We just usually don't know that it's that. Like when you experience anxiety, you sit there and like you dread, and every time you like these thoughts come to you, and all of a sudden like you dread, like in the middle of the night, they get me at night, and I think that's the big time they get you, is at night, because you're open, and like I'll wake up with the image in my mind, like even in my bank account, you know, like boom, they'll show me the last image that I had in my bank account, you know, and it puts you into like anxiety and all the stress, and I've never have really had that depth of like anxiety over finances and stuff. It's in particular this moment, like in my personal life, I'm just so stretched, and that's part of what even pushed me and my wife to keep pushing to find the truth. So I'll wrap it with this. I like to keep going back to the secret book of John, because I mean it is the fundamental book of Gnosis. Like it's the foundation, pretty much. I like it because literally, like even on video form, it's like a 1 hour. You can go through the gospel in an hour, and I truly believe we're supposed to know everything. We're supposed to know beginning to end, because the monad is full and complete. Why would the monad need to be all shisty and gimmicky and mysterious and not let us know who we are, where we come from? Because that's how the monad's gonna have us return, you know? And that way we can complete this cycle for the demiurge. Because I think the reason why the monad just didn't wipe the demiurge out is because I think once things start, it has to go through a cycle, you know, and just be done right. You can't just like pretend that it didn't exist and just wipe it out. No, you have to deal with it. It has to be dealt with. And so we are the vessels of Sophia, and now we're going to return, and eventually the demiurge will lose all its power, and that cycle will be complete. And who knows, maybe the demiurge or Yaldabaoth will, I haven't seen anything so far or had a revelation where I see he has like an end to his time and he's going to be punished for eternity, stuff like that. Now there is an abyss, obviously, because Christ did say there is a special place, an abyss, for the ones that did know, but they blasphemed and they turned and they just free will. They choose, oh, I know everything going on, but no, And so therefore it's like, well, there you go. But besides that, the one, our father, mother, child, the monad, is so merciful that, I mean, to be thrust back into the flesh until you know, our spirit awakens, our spirit, your spirit, we're all one pure conscience of monad, the one, Father, Son, child. I mean, the entire kingdom, all in us, in you and me, all right here, all inside the entire existence, all pure conscience, all with different frequencies, but still the same, from the same conscience from the beginning, you know? So anyways, I'm probably talking over my own head right now. So anyways, these videos aren't perfect. They're meant to be sincere, genuine, and real. It's a process. We're all in this together. We're building each other up. I'll find other ways for us to talk and communicate. I'll probably eventually start X Spaces. I'll start an account, because on X Spaces I have another community that I work in technology, and I've been hosting spaces for a long time. I haven't done it in a while now. I've taken a break, but I still have that community. You know, it's yeah, it's something for sure. But anyways, yeah, we'll do something like that. I might have a Discord eventually. I already have a Discord that I use already, but I might open something up for our community. I don't really like Discord that much. I'm trying to think why I use it. It does work good for technology, but it's kind of messy, really. I'll find something. You guys probably know I'm into tech, but I'm not. So anyways, all right, well, let's keep it going. And guys, just, I know your experiences like that. I think that's what really hits me right now, is when I read your comments. You know, I feel you, man. I feel you. And it's a journey, you know, but it's a journey that's worth it, you know. And yes, you might have gone through many conversions, but that's your walk. That's your seeking, you shall find. You know, the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And so, let's keep at it, fam. I'll keep doing everything I can. You know, but I believe the greatest awakening is on the way. I also believe, I could be wrong, but I think Mel Gibson, his movie coming out, the resurrection of Christ, I think that could be a something divine. Because if they truly reveal the demiurge, that's gonna probably be the biggest like promotion of Gnosis in our modern day, and probably historically ever. And that could be an outpouring of the Spirit, because when people had the words of truth impart onto their spirit who they are, the Spirit, the one, that's when the greatest awakening could really start going. Because, dude, the Passion of Christ was huge. I think they say it was the record rated R multi-billion-dollar production ever in history. So that means they're already lining up. They're going to be lined up for the resurrection of Christ. And he got a lot of revelation all these years. The Ethiopian Bible, you know, the Book of the Covenants in there, or the Covenant. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's kind of my prediction. So, and so leading up to that, I think it's a great time to go out and start planting seeds, you know, and yeah, let's go. All right, fam. Peace, much love.